Board 15. The basketball team scored 117 points. The players made 5 times as many 2-point shots as they did 3-point shots. Assume that no fouls were committed. Let the number of 2-pointers they made be x. So let x equal the number of 2-pointers, and the number of 3-pointers be y. So let y equal the number of 3-pointers. Write and solve a system of 2 equations to find the values of x and y. So the first thing they say is that the basketball team scored 117 points by either making 2-pointers or 3-pointers. So 2 times how many 2-pointers plus 3 times how many 3-pointers, right, the number, is going to equal to 117. So there's one of our 2 equations. The other equation is they give us this little hint that the players made 5 times as many 2-pointers as they did 3-pointers. So if they only made 1 3-pointer, then they made 5 2-pointers. Or if they made 2 3-pointers, then they have made 10 2-pointers, etc. So how do we figure out how many 2-pointers? The number of 2-pointers, which is x, is going to be equal to 5 times the number of 3-pointers. So here are our 2 equations. And now I can say, do substitution, right? Because x equals 5y. I take the 5y and I can substitute it in for x. And I'm going to have 2 times 5y plus 3y equals 117. 10y plus 3y equals 117. 13y equals 117. 117 divided by 13. 117 divided by 13 is 9. So they made 9 3-pointers, and we know that they make 5 times, for 2-pointers, it's 5 times the number of 3-pointers. So if they made 9 3-pointers, then 9 times 5, they made 45 2-pointers. So 9 3-pointers and 45 2-pointers. Alright, next question. Suppose that 13 out of the 117 were scored through 3 free throw shots. Okay, so these free throw shots are worth 1 point each. So if 13 of the points were from 1-pointers, then rewrite and solve the system of equations to find out the number of 2-pointers and the number of 3-pointers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 117 and we're going to subtract off the 1-pointers. Right? And then they're asking us, after you take away the 1-pointers from this, how many 2 and 3-pointers were made. So it's going to be the same equations. 2x, well, almost the same equations. 2x plus 3y equals 104. That's different. But the x equals 5y, that part is actually the same. So again, substitution. I'll take this value and I'll substitute it in here. I'll have 2 times 5y plus 3y equals 104. This is going to be 10 plus another 3. This is going to be 13y equals 104. Divide both sides by 13 is 8. So that means I'm going to have 8 3-pointers. And how many 2-pointers am I going to have? Well, we had 5 times as many 2-pointers as 3-pointers. So if I have 8 3-pointers, 5 times 8 would be 40. 40 2-pointers. Okay, we're looking at this graph. If you are traveling along the line in the graph above from point A to point D, between which points are you traveling the fastest? So are you traveling the fastest here, here, or here? Well, you're going to look for where the slope is increasing the fastest, right? Because the slope is going to be the rise, which is miles over hours. So this slope represents miles per hour, or the speed. You're looking for where the slope is going to be the greatest. Obviously, this slope is not going to be the greatest. Okay? But when I look at these two, I might not really be sure which one is faster, just based the way it looks. So we could calculate it. So we know that the slope is the rise over the run, so the change in y over the change in x. Here, this is going up by 2. So from here to here, from 0 to here, that's the change in 12. And then the change in y would be 1, 2. So this has a slope of 6. This has a slope of the change in y over the change in x, be 2, 4, 6, 8 over 1, 2. That equals 4. Okay? You could do the same thing here to confirm with yourself that this slope is going to be less than this slope and this slope. And then between C and D and A and B, which one is faster? Between A and B, because it has a slope of 6, which means traveling at 6 miles per hour. So between A and B. Is there another name for your different speeds here? So sure, this can be called slope, this can be called the rate of change, it can be called the speed. It's already being called the speed, so you could say it's the slope, the rate of change. Okay. A water tank is being filled, and another one is being emptied, as shown in the graph below. Write an equation in the slope-intercept form for the line that represents the emptying tank. So that means as time is increasing, the number of gallons is decreasing because it's emptying out. So we're talking about find this slope. Well, I rather find the equation of this. So let's see, if I chose this point and this point, first thing I need to write an equation, I need M and I need B. Well, B is really easy because the value of B is wherever x equals 0. Here x equals 0, so the value of B is 240. So that one was really easy. But we also need to figure out the slope so that we can put it together in our y equals x plus B line. So this number these are counting by, let's see, 0, 20, 40. These are counting by 20s. So if I go right here, this is 20, 40, 60, 80. Okay. Actually, I would need to go from here down to here. So let's go like this. 20, 40, 60, 80. I was going down. Therefore, that would be a negative 80 over, okay, because if I go from here to here, I'm going to go down, and then I am going to go right by 1, and we can see that that is a change of just 1, so negative 80, and the units would be gallons per hour. So the water tank is emptying at 80 gallons per hour. So now I'm going to put these two things together to write my equation. Y equals negative 80x plus 240. Okay, use your equation in A above to find out how long it takes the tank to empty out completely. Well, if the tank empties out completely, then the number of gallons that are left are 0. Because this represents gallons, right? And this represents time. They're asking us how long it's going to take. They're asking us for x when the tank is completely empty, when the tank is equal to 0. So starting with y equals negative 80x plus 240, I'm going to say that the tank is empty, so 0 gallons. And now I will just solve for x. Running out of space. That's a negative right there. So negative 240 equals negative 80x. If I divide both sides by negative 80, negative 240 divided by negative 80 will be a positive 3. So 3 hours. Okay, what is happening at the intersection point K? Alright, well, right here we have one tank that's being emptied and one tank that is being filled, and point K is going to represent how long, right, because this is time, how long it's going to take for them to have the same number of gallons. How long it takes to have the same number of gallons, right, because it's x comma y. How long, how many hours it takes to have the same number of gallons in both of the tanks. Alright, so let's read. The tank being filled is doing so at the same rate. I figured out the rate of change of this, so I did not figure out the rate of change of this, so not that one. Both tanks have the same amount of water. Well, yeah, because where they're meeting is right here, and it would have just below 100 gallons, so yeah, that's true. The emptying tank stops emptying and reverses its action to filling. So the tank that is emptying hits the spot where they both have the same number of gallons and then starts filling back up. No, that's not true either. So it was this one. Both tanks have the same amount of water.